Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeremy and Donovan with Martial Arts Business Made Easy, and today we're going to be talking about always be teaching and always be leveraging according to me. So this is my video. Get out of here. All right guys, so when I first started my business, I kind of had this conceptualization in my mind of how building a business should go. And I kind of imagined it being very similar to building a house, right? So for example, when you build a house, you first pour your foundation, and once you've poured the foundation, it's poured. You don't really have to mess with it anymore, it's done. And then you frame the house in, and then you have the drywall, right? And then you continue to build the house, right? But with each piece, you check off the first step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And once it's done, and you kind of move on. And in my mind, I was still pretty immature as a business owner. I kind of felt like building my business was going to be very similar. What I learned the hard way was that, especially with staffing, this is absolutely not the case. Right? Staffing needs constant attention. You have to always be investing in them. You have to always be teaching. All right, so when you first bring on a new staff member, it'll probably follow some sort of process where you show them what you're doing and why you're doing it. You show them how it's done. You let them watch you do it first, and then you let them try it, check for understanding, and once they can do whatever it is to a satisfactory ability or kind of criteria, then you cut them loose a little bit and let them go on their own with periodic check-ins. All right. However, once you do that, you cannot just set that staff member off and let them go and just kind of like the foundation in the house, right? You need to continue to check in on them, check to make sure they're still doing things the way they need to be done. Check to make sure they haven't gotten complacent or just downright lazy. Check to make sure, they're not just taking some shortcuts, or maybe they think they've found a better way, but they don't understand that they're actually hurting the big picture because they're not taking the entire business into account, right? So all of your staff, everybody that works for you, everybody that has anything to do with your organization, you need to constantly be checking in on them, investing in them, making sure that they're doing things the right way, doing things the way that you want them done, doing things the way that's best for the business and the community. Okay guys, so the next concept is always be leveraging. Shout out to my guy, Tim Thackeray, who's one of my first business coaches when Donovan and I first got started in business. And he actually came out, spent a couple of days with us once we were open for about a year or so, and he taught me this concept that has stuck with me ever since then. And it was this concept of leverage in your teaching, right? And the way he explained it to me was, if I look right here and I see that this chair is out of place, right? I have two options, okay? I could come over and I could just fix the chair, okay? And if I do that, the chair is fixed, it's back in place, it's where it needs to be, right? And I can check that off the list. But I have not created a teaching moment when I fix the chair. All right, so the problem is, next time the chair is out of place, who's gonna have to fix it? I'm gonna have to, right? Or it's not gonna get done, okay? Because we don't have a system in place. I haven't had that teaching moment to show somebody how the chair needs to be set up, okay? So instead of fixing the chair, what I could do is call one of my coaches over and say, hey, come over here real quick, let me show you how this chair needs to look. And I say, see how it's right here at an angle? What we actually wanna do is turn it, tuck it all the way under the desk. That's how the chair should look. Does that make sense? Awesome. So that creates a little bit of leverage in that teaching moment. So now we have the chair fixed, and I have a staff member that understands how the chair needs to be and why it needs to be that way. Now, substitute out the chair being out of place for literally anything in your entire business. Could be the way your phones are answered, it could be the way a walk-in is treated, it could be the way the equipment is laid out, it could be your cleaning process, it could be anything in your entire business. If you can turn those into teaching opportunities and leverage that effort to where your staff now is understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, right, then you get more bang for your buck, especially in staff training. All right, the other trick to leveraging as much as you can is make sure you do your teaching whenever possible in groups, right? So I'll give you an example of a story. This morning, I went to a workout at my gym, Frequency Fitness, and one of my coaches, he was teaching a movement and he was doing an okay job at it, but it definitely wasn't a 10 out of a 10, right? Well, it happens to be that in that class, not only myself, but 4 of my other coaches were actually working out, taking the class as well. So instead of just grabbing the coach and pulling him over here, I really quickly took about 60 seconds. I pulled all the coaches over and I said, hey guys, quick learning moment. Make sure when we teach this movement, we teach it this way, and we emphasize this, right? The movement was the thruster, right? So without getting into too much detail, I was teaching them, here are the proper mechanics of doing this exercise, right? Make sure you look for these 3 things, all right? And these are the problem areas you'll probably see. Everybody got it? Great. Go, right? And then everybody, I was able to teach 4 people at the same time this one teaching moment, right? Just by using leverage, by teaching in groups. Okay, so you can do this in your staff meetings. You can do this with a private Facebook group that's only for your staff and the people on your team. You could do Voxer, which is a walkie-talkie app, which is one of my favorites, right? Any way that you can to where whenever you post any sort of teaching moment, a learning opportunity for your staff, as many of them as possible can reap the benefits of that. All right, guys, so that's what we've got for you today. Always be teaching, always be leveraging. Hope you have an awesome day. See ya.